Let's take a look at properties of real numbers. And the first problems have nothing to do with the properties. It's like they didn't have enough for entire sections, so they wanted to add some items in here. They're conversions we're going to be taking a look at. So let's look at our first problem. And it says we got 140 feet, and we want to convert it to yards. Now I'm going to show you something called dimensional analysis. And this is the best way to work all these. You'll find that dimensional analysis, once you click with it, is so easy. The first thing we do with dimensional analysis is we put whatever we're converting over 1 in fraction form. Now, the way dimensional analysis works, if feet is up here on top, then we need feet right down here. And we'd like to convert it to yards, so I'd like to have yards up here. Well, this time it works out pretty good because 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. And I think that's right here. 3 feet equals 1 yard. Okay. So the feet are going to cancel. One's on top, one's on the bottom. And we get 140 over 3 yards. Now if they convert that to mixed number, which I'm guessing they probably do, it doesn't really specify, it just says convert each measurement. 3 would go into that 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I put 20. That goes into 6. 6 times 3 is 18, and that gives us 2. So we're going to rewrite this as 46 and 2/3 yards. Whatever number's on top here goes out in front. Whatever your remainder is right here goes on top of the fraction. Whatever you're dividing by is your denominator. And that's how you convert an improper fraction, where the number on top is larger than the bottom, improper fraction, to a mixed number. Now let's look at another dimensional analysis. Okay, we got 63 quarts, and I think that's the abbreviation, QTS. Now again, I want to put it over 1. Now if quarts is up here on top, then quarts has to be down here on the bottom. And we'd like to see if there's some kind of tie between quarts and gallons. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. So there is. So we've got gallons up here, and what did I say? 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. Well, dimensional analysis. If quarts is here and quarts is here, you can cancel them. One's on top, one's on the bottom. And then 63 over 4 gallons. Now if I do my division, 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. So that'd give us 23. And this would be 5. 5 times 4 is 20 with 3. So this becomes 15 and 3/4 gallons. Again, whatever number's on top is what goes out in front. Whatever your remainder is the number on top, your fraction. And whatever you're dividing by is what goes right here. Now the book does something a little bit weird there. They'll write part of it in gallons and part of it in quarts. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if it says convert those quarts to gallons, this is in gallons. You don't put part of it in quarts. But I thought I'd point that out, so let me see what the book does. One more. Then we'll look at the different properties. So here we have 12,200 seconds over 1. Okay, dimensional analysis. Put in fraction form. If seconds is up here, seconds has to be down here. Well, I don't know how many seconds are in an hour, but I do know how many seconds are in a minute, so I can do that conversion. There's 60 seconds in 1 minute. Now, we're still not where we want to be. We want to be in hours. Well, if minutes is up here, then we want minutes down here. That's the way it'll always work. This is on top. We need it down here. And I'm hoping there's some kind of connection between minutes and hours, and there is. 60 minutes gives you 1 hour. Well, now we can do some simplifying. Those seconds cancel. These minutes cancel. And we got 12,200 over 60 times 60, which gives us 3,600 hours. Well, now we do our division. Actually, that reduces, doesn't it? See how they both end with 2 zeros? I can divide top and bottom by 100. So that gives me 122 over 36. Those are still both divisible by 2, so that gives me 122 divided by 2 gives me 61. And this gives me 18 hours. And again, I can do my division here. 18 goes in that 1, 2, 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. It gives me 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this would be 3 and 7/18 hours. If they want decimal, then you put in decimal, so forth. Well, let's talk about our properties now. Okay, we have our commutative. We have our associative. And we have our identity. And we got addition. Now commutative is where you flip things around. So if I had 3 plus 1, I could rewrite that as 1 plus 3. 3 plus 1 gives you 4, 1 plus 3 gives you 4. So it doesn't matter on those. Now multiplication. You can again flip things around. If I have 3 times 2, I can rewrite that as 2 times 3. It'll give me the same result. Now associative is where you have parentheses and you move your parentheses around. For example, we have 3 plus, and then we got 2 plus 5. Now parentheses tells you to do that first in mathematics. So this would be 2 plus 5 is 7, then add 3 and gives us 10. Well, instead of having our parentheses around the last 2 numbers, let's put the parentheses around the first 2 numbers. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 plus 5 gives us 10. Now for multiplication, same way. We can have this right here. 6 times 3 is 18, times 2 gives us 36. I could also put the parentheses around 2 times 6 and do that first. 2 times 6 is 12, times 2, or wait, that should be a 3. Try it again. 2 times 6 is 12, times 3 is 36. So again, you can move parentheses around. Now identity, like additive identity, multiplicative identity, is where what do you multiply by such it doesn't change? Or what do you add to it doesn't change? Like I started off 5. I want to add something to this such that it's still 5. Well, that'd be 5 plus 0. For multiplication, what can I multiply times 6 such that it's still 6? Well, that'd be 1. Now there's some other ones, but those are kind of the main ones we'll run across. Now it's not so important on these first 2, the commutative and associative, that you know the name. It's important that you know you can do it. That's the important part. You'll see that a lot in algebra. Okay, number 4. It says state the property of real numbers as being illustrated. 3 times 7 times 1/2. 3 times 1/2 times 7. Looks like they flipped around to 7 and 1/2. When you flip things, that's commutative. So this one would be commutative. Sometimes books will say commutative property of multiplication, but commutative is good enough for me. Now our next one. Well, this is one that I didn't list. We got 3 plus -3 is equal to 0. Now this is where you start out with something and you want to add something to it such that it equals 0. Well, this is the additive inverse. There's also a multiplicative inverse where you want to multiply times something such that it gives you 1. So anyway, not very exciting on that one. Okay, number 6. I have 4 plus -3 plus 7, and looks like I flipped around -3 and 7, so that's commutative. Number 7. We have 5 times, and then we have parentheses around the 3 times 6, and then over here it looks like we changed it and put parentheses around the 5 times 3. Well, that's associative for multiplication. You can move parentheses around and be fine. These last two, the book might give them names, but it's really just important to know. If you have 5 divided by 0, basically you have any number divided by 0. You can't have 0 in the denominator. This is undefined. Now the other one is where it's flipped around. We have 0 over 7. Well, anytime you have 0 divided by anything besides 0, it's always equal to 0. And those would be your answers. And the end of that video. It's a short one. Properties of real numbers.